the title, you read the thumbnail. I hate intros. Let's get right into it. I created a template. If y'all want to do this mathematical formula right along with me, I'm going to show you on my iPad, and feel free to join. Here we go. First step, include the college. I'm so excited about this video, guys. You have no idea. Okay. So the first step is to write down the colleges that are currently at the forefront of your mind. So for me, I was only deciding between UCLA and UMiami, so that's what I'm going to write. My handwriting's so bad, I'm embarrassed. I'm doing that again. Pretty colors. I'm only going to be comparing two colleges because I'm trying to make this as genuine to my college decision story as possible, and I was only deciding between UMiami and UCLA. On the left-hand side, you're gonna see all of the college aspects that make or break your college decision and your college experience. What we're going to be doing with these 9 college aspects is rating their level of importance. With location, you're considering where the college is. Is there a college town? Is there a college campus? Is there greenery? Is it a city? Is it a rural area? So for me, location was extremely important. The thought of where I'm going to be settling down for 4 years, that was very, very important to me personally. So I'm going to be rating location with a 9. Next, let's take a look at what social scene means. So when I say social scene, I mean what is the vibe of the campus? What is the atmosphere? What is the mentality of the students? What is the diversity like? What is the student involvement like? That's how I interpret it in any way as you wish. There are a lot of statistics you could look into with regards to diversity. You can find statistics like that on the college websites. I definitely recommend going on a tour of the campus. That was one of the most helpful things in not only just making this whole little mathematical equation up, but in making my ultimate college decision. I'm giving it an 8. It is next in importance, next to location. The social scene was very important in making my happiness at the current university I am at, which most of you probably know, but if you don't know, you'll find out by the end because this mathematical equation will show it. Next, let's talk about academics. So academics can include anything like academic rigor, academic course load, academic prestige, anything along those lines. I would recommend not letting academic prestige get too in the way of your decision. Saying that you went to Harvard versus saying that you went to UMiami, the job opportunities, they may differ, but there have been studies done that show that it really doesn't alter someone's success that greatly. When I say academics, I mean more so academic rigor, academic course load. Does the school offer the classes that you want? Does it offer research and internship opportunities that you want? Does it have a study abroad program if you're interested in that? That was important for me. So those are all things that I'm going to be looking into. I'm gonna rate academics a 7 in importance. Next up, I wanna talk about Greek life. Greek life is pretty self-explanatory. Sororities and fraternities, intermingling, and having fun parties and doing philanthropy and just having a good time. Greek life was very important to me. If you've seen my YouTube video, you know it didn't go too well for me and I'm not in a sorority. But I'm putting it at 6. Greek life was very important to me. Like I said, I'm putting myself back in that mindset of I'm 17 years old and I need to decide what college I'm going to. So back when I was 17 and I was deciding on a college, Greek life was of utmost importance to me. If you don't know what Greek life is, just look up videos. Sorority Rush, Alabama is probably where you'll find most of the sorority videos. But a lot of people value it. Some people don't care at all. I cared. I'm putting it at 6. Clubs includes activities, organizations, dance team. For me, that's what I wanted to talk about, dance team, teams, and whatnot and so forth. The club aspect is definitely something I would recommend looking into. Just look on the websites, look through the Instagram. I'm going to put this as number 5 in importance. Next, let's talk about finances. Finances can also be brought into the location conversation a little bit. Obviously, it's more expensive to live in a city and go to school in a city than it is to go to a school in a suburb or somewhere that's more a college town. It involves travel, room and board, where you're living, actual tuition, scholarships, financial aid. Finances could also include job opportunity or minimum wage in the area. When I worked in my hometown of New Jersey, when I was 14, I was making, I think, $9 an hour at minimum wage. I know it's higher now, but that's what it was back then when I was working minimum wage. And where I live now, it is $5 more than what it was there. So keep in mind the minimum wage, the job opportunities, if the college has or doesn't have good job opportunities for students. The 2 colleges I was considering pretty much were the same in price. I'm putting finances at a level 4 importance. Next, let's talk about sports. Sports are really fun. They're a great way to get involved with the social scene. There are some schools that don't even have sports teams, don't even have football teams. And there are some schools that have huge football teams and their whole school and their whole spirit is about the sports teams. So this is good to keep in mind when doing a rating in this section. I'm putting them at a 3. As you guys can see, there is an other section that we haven't talked about much yet. This is just so that you can put something that is personal to you, something that might matter to you that I'm not aware of or that doesn't matter to me. This didn't matter to me too much. Clearly, I'm about to put it at number 2, but there is something to be said for private versus public opportunities, alumni resources, guidance counseling resources. So public versus private was an argument in my head. Some other possible options for this other section, maybe distance relative to other close family members. Does it have a really specific honors college program that you want? Does it have a study abroad program? If that's super important to you, you want to make it a separate section. Here's your section. I'm just showing you how my little system works. You can make it up to 12, 20, 30, I don't care. But for me, I'm just gonna do 9. Sorry, class size factor. You're number 1, and that's not a good thing. The last factor for me is gonna be class size. This includes the amount of people in your undergraduate class. I definitely recommend looking it up and taking a look at the student to teacher ratio. Class size wasn't too important to me. I had gone to a huge high school, so I was used to a bigger school, so I was fine with a big school or a small school, honestly. Now that I've rated each of these aspects with regards to how important I personally see them to my college experience, we're gonna move on to talking about the actual college options. We're going to give 1 to 9 ratings for each of these college options in terms of their aspect. So first, let's talk about location. Although Miami is a pretty city, I was thinking about the weather, I was thinking about how many career opportunities. UCLA really just outshined Miami for me. I've always loved the city of Los Angeles. I visited LA, I love the vibe. I think it's beautiful. I think the weather is pretty reasonable. I would say the location for UCLA was definitely better than Miami. So I'm gonna give UCLA a 9 for location, and I'm going to give Miami a 4. UCLA, Miami social scene. I do think I liked the Miami one a little bit better. What I noticed about being on campus at UCLA, everyone looked happy, but everyone looked a little bit stressed. There were a lot of kids like running to classes, a lot of kids walking around with their face in books, and at Miami, everyone seemed a little bit more chill. I'm gonna give Miami an 8 with regards to social scene, and I'm going to give UCLA a 7 with regards to social scene. This is also including what I've heard about parties, what I saw on Instagram, what I saw on YouTube. We're gonna give UCLA a 7 for social scene. We're gonna give Miami an 8 for social scene. Because I really like the social scenes at both, and I honestly think I would have enjoyed it at either. Next, let's talk about clubs. I saw that UCLA had a Spirit Squad dance team, which I really wanted to join. That was one of the biggest factors, but this stupid factor was I really liked... When I went on my tour, the tour guide had told me about the Head of Lettuce Club. You basically bring a head of lettuce to this club once a month and you eat the whole head of lettuce, and whoever is eating the head of lettuce first wins. That seemed really fun to me. At Miami, the club seemed dope too. I liked the UCLA Spirit Squad dance team style a little bit more, and that was one of the main things that was important to me when it came to clubs. I also really enjoyed looking at the UCLA dance teams. I thought they all looked really different. Like, not the dance team, sorry. The dance crews at UCLA all seemed very interesting and diverse. I'm gonna give UCLA an 8 for clubs, and I'm gonna give Miami a 6 for clubs, just because I kind of seem more interested in the UCLA ones for the most part. Short and simple, Greek life at Miami. For some reason, Miami did not have sorority houses, so I didn't really like that. I really wanted to be in a sorority house. I really wanted to have that experience living in one, and that was high on my priority list, and Miami didn't have that. So for this reason, I'm going to give Miami a 6 for Greek life and UCLA a 9 for Greek life. I saw on my tour sorority row and frat row, both looked really pretty. Actually, I'm gonna give UCLA Greek life an 8 because for some reason, frat row and sorority row were like a 30-minute walk away from each other, which I thought was kind of weird. Next up comes sports. I thought that both schools had great sports. I like the UCLA colors better, which is so stupid, but I thought UCLA and Miami were both really high. Academics. Academic rigor of UCLA was higher. The prestige was higher, the ranking was higher, but resources and guidance and counseling were higher at Miami. I was considering the fact that I was undecided. So I was really considering the academic counseling I would get. So I'm just gonna give a small difference. I'm gonna give an 8 to Miami and a 9 to UCLA. I mean, I was an undecided major. I had no idea what I was doing, so this is what I would have given. Next, we're at class size. So after looking at my handy-dandy iPhone skills, the Miami student to faculty ratio is 12 to 1, whereas UCLA is 18 to 1. And then the average UCLA classes, the internet says, it isn't unusual for class sizes to be around 50 to 100. Some classes might have 300 to 400. It's not really an average. Let me look that one up again. So the school reports 48% of classes with less than 20 students. The overall average for UMiami is between 16 and 27. I also heard, just because, once again, the private versus public thing, most of the classes at UMiami were smaller. In terms of class size, I was thinking it would be better to have a smaller class, and therefore the UMiami stats are looking a bit better than the UCLA ones. I'm gonna give UCLA a 4 and UMiami an 8. When looking at class size, it's important to consider a lot of factors regarding whether you want a bigger or a smaller class size. There are benefits to both. Because I struggle personally with ADHD and I get very distracted around bigger crowds, it would be preferable to have a smaller class size as opposed to a larger class size. There are other factors though that could influence you to want a larger class size. For example, if you don't really want to learn much, you might want a bigger class size because you could sit in the back and probably fall asleep. Or there's no attendance in a big lecture hall. The professor's not taking attendance. So if that's you, maybe that's a reason to want a larger class size, or maybe you just want more opportunity to make more friends in class. There are pros and cons to having a smaller class size. There are pros and cons to having a larger class size. Ultimately, it was the smarter move for me to go for school with a smaller class size. Finances. As an out-of-stater, I think UCLA was about like $60,000 and UMiami was about $70,000. I did get a $20,000 scholarship from UMiami, so it was going to be $50,000 instead of $70,000. And the ultimate travel expenses to UMiami were a lot less than the travel expenses to UCLA. The cost of living in Miami relative to New Jersey was a lot easier than the cost of living in LA relative to New Jersey. Because of the finances being ultimately less for tuition at UMiami and my chances of being able to get even more scholarship possibly from UMiami, I'm going to give UMiami a 7 and I'm going to give UCLA a 3. Lastly, we're going to take a look at this other category. So something that was a little important to me was the public versus private, mainly access to accessible education, access to counseling, guidance, because I was an undecided student. Yes, it sucks that public universities don't provide the guidance and the individualized counseling and whatnot, but it is what it is. We're going to give UMiami a 9. They seemed like they had a really good counseling program. They talked a lot about their guidance counseling in their tours and whatnot, and they really put a lot of emphasis on kind of being handheld through the choosing your major process, which as an undecided incoming freshman, I really wanted. We have completed our chart. And what does that mean? That means that you're almost done and almost decided on your dream school if you're gonna believe in this little system that I created. So the reason I didn't want to just do ratings and add up the ratings per aspect was because that wouldn't take into accountability how important each of these aspects is individually to you. So what this looks like is we're going to multiply the college aspect rate of importance numbers by the ratings that we gave the individual school options. So 9 by 9 is 81. 8 by 7 is 56, 5 by 8 is 40, 6 by 8 is 48. The total of 337 points for UCLA. I'm like acting like I didn't do this before filming. Okay, just cut to where I finished the math. 296 score for UMiami, and as you guys probably know, but maybe if you're new, you don't know, I am a UCLA student. You are in a UCLA dorm right now. Congrats, we got to the end of the video. I got off the UCLA waitlist about 3 weeks or 4 weeks into committing to UMiami. And by the time I had gotten off the UCLA waitlist, I was trying to like hype myself up for UMiami. I was sad I didn't get into my dream school, but I was getting excited for UMiami. When it came down to it, it was a very easy decision for me. But I really hope that this system helps some of you who are struggling. I know friends who literally made their decisions the night before May 1st. For those of you who are actually going through the college decision process right now, I highly recommend hopping on the app Admit Early. This app gives you the ability to connect with college students with interests, majors, lifestyles similar to yours. Basically, you just download the app, make a profile with your major interests, your overall interests, and your colleges of choice, and then you get to choose a college student from said college. From there, you get to set up a call for a time that is convenient for the both of you, and you get to ask them anything and everything that you want. Clearly, I love talking to high school students. I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't love having a high school audience. So I'm on the app and I've been talking to high school students who are interested in UCLA. If you're interested in UCLA, there's a good chance that you might be able to choose me. Obviously, the college decision process is really stressful, and being able to talk to some of the students and ask them anything you want is a really great way to narrow this decision down. Putting this template down below, and I have written out steps. Obviously, if you watch the video, you probably understand pretty well. It's quite easy, it's not rocket science. It's a little silly, but it really gets you thinking about every individual aspect and how important that aspect really is to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know down below if you think it's helpful or not. Let me know if you end up using this mathematical system, and let me know what colleges y'all are going to, because I'm so excited for all of you, class of 2026. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at Sammy Brielle. Make sure to go find me on Admit Early if you're interested in UCLA, or go find other college students if you're interested in other colleges. And yeah, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.